Ben, tell us about your sighting.
Well, it happened in 2017, heading east towards Grand Ron, towards the casino. There is a area called the Miami Corporation. You go back there 3 miles on a road, and while I was walking back to the truck, a animal, which I gathered as Sasquatch, walked across the logging road in 2 steps. It was between me and probably 100 feet, I think. It was black in color. There was no smell. It did not care that I was there. It walked across like almost, I don't know how to describe it. When I walked across, it was so agile. Its head didn't do any of this or nothing. It was just like boom, boom, into the forest. No noise, no crashing, nothing. It, from what what I seen, it looked like it was built for its environment. It wasn't overly sized. It didn't have some like, oh my god look. It was just looked like an animal going through the forest that was built for its environment. The weirdest part about it was the fact that it didn't even look. It just went across, and my buddy's dog was in the back of the truck, because the truck, that's where I was heading to, and it was like this. Just staring at it, just like this. It didn't make a single peep. It was a red heeler. And I walked over, I looked into the forest where it went in, didn't see anything, no noises or nothing.
So to you, what do you think they are?
From what I saw, I guess, to me, it seemed like just an animal in the woods. It just built for its environment and just smarter than your average bear, or it just seemed more intelligent the way it was acting. Undiscovered ape species or some type of hominid. Because it looked like to be honest, it looked like a gigantic dude, just hairy, but built for its size. It wasn't a massive thing, it was just built for its size. But at least it was at least 7.5 feet tall. It had to have been, because it was bigger than me, and I'm 6'1". No, 3. 6'3", and it was taller than me by some. I was like kind of like looking up, and the way I was walking by, you just could tell it was much bigger than I was.
Alright guys, so you can see that big tree right there. Right below the hill, and in between this tree is this big tree, and in between this tree is the road. We were hiking up, and I just decided to come along here. I came down. Oh, hello, Ben.
Hello.
I came down and saw this little area. I just came out to check out this plateau. There's the river. And this caught my attention. So I came in, straddled it, kind of checking it out, and I look up. And there is some green boughs. I am not one to call this type of stuff evidence, because it's the forest, so much possibility, but I have looked around for about 10 minutes or so, and I have found nothing like this. And so I'm trying to get across here without stepping in the possible print. I mean, these, let me see if I can't back up and show you. And all the plants around the area are just kind of flattened down to this spot. I don't know, it might not be anything. Let's see if I can't get a better picture of it for you. It's not going to be the same, but you can kind of see it. And I mean, yeah, I don't know. Could be nothing. Like I said, I didn't see anything around the area like it. And Dustin happened to find this nearby. I'm not saying it's not cougar or bear, but It's just very strange. I don't know. This bone was not found here, it was put here. Just FYI. But this whole area is just...
Meet me by the dried up lake, and please make sure you leave no way.
Hi, I'm Doug. I got into the topic of Bigfoot probably when I was about 7 years old, when the Patterson-Gimlin film was playing on television. It got my interest. Shortly after seeing that, I went to the library for the first time. I was about 7, and found a book that was on Bigfoot. I took that home, and my mom read it to me, and it kind of got me really interested in that kind of stuff. I watched a lot of TV shows like In Search Of and things like that that had topics of strange creatures. Many years later, it was in 2017, we had a camp out for our anniversary at a little campground that's about 16 miles off the main highway in the town of Walton, a place called Clay Creek Campground. And we had a normal camping experience. We were having fun doing hikes. We were the only people in the campground. It was about the time of the year that the campground shut down. We went out to a field that night to stargaze because it was such a clear night and the stars were really bright and you could actually see the Milky Way. It was so clear out that night. And we had a small dog at the time. It was a little Cocker Spaniel. And we went out to that field and we were stargazing, and something got his attention down by the river. And he started growling and acting weird, and his hackles went up, and he just would not take his attention away from the creek. Well, it made my wife a little unsettled, so we decided to go back to the camp. And we got back to camp, and I sat out at the campfire. She went to bed with the dog. While I was sitting at the campfire, something made a loud splash in the river right behind me. I got up to kind of investigate it, thinking it might have been a bear jumping in the river or something along those lines. Shined my flashlight around. I could see where the ripples were coming out of the water where whatever it was had splashed, but there was nothing there. I kind of wrote it off. Oh, maybe it was a fish jumping or something like that. Didn't think much of it. Went and sat back down. A couple of minutes later, it did it again. The second time that it did it, it was a much larger splash. And this time it's hard to describe, but it was followed by the sound of rocks clinking together underwater. Like somebody had thrown a large rock into the water, and during the splash, you could hear them clacking together. Went back over, looked at it, nothing there. I thought maybe some kids were playing jokes on us and trying to spook us or whatever, so I kind of yelled out that, you got me, that was funny. And I hid in the bushes waiting for them to do it again. And I sat there for probably about 30, 45 minutes and nothing ever happened again. So by that time it was like, time to go to bed. I went into the tent and went to sleep. And right about 2:30 in the morning, I was awoken by the sound of a vehicle driving on the main road outside of the campground. And it was either hauling a trailer that had metal on it, or it had metal in the bed of the truck, but it was making a really loud metal and metal clinking sound, and that's what woke me up. When I woke up, I could see the headlights going past our tent because it was like shining on the tent and going by. And as soon as the lights went off of our tent, something right outside the tent let out a scream. It started out with a really guttural groan that almost sounded like a lion when they're protecting food or whatever. And that progressed into a moaning that went from a low volume to a super high pitch, but the intensity of it made your inside shake. I've never been so scared in my life hearing that. And that went back down to a low groan again, and then dead silent. Our dog bailed off of the bed and went under the bed. My wife slept right through it. I grabbed a handgun and was looking through the tent material, looking for shadows. Never did see anything. Laid there awake for a while, and after a bit, I guess I fell back asleep and woke up in the morning and asked my wife if she had heard that sound. She didn't hear anything. The dog was still under the bed. We got up, went out, started getting our day going, and the dog still wouldn't come out from under the bed. I started making breakfast and made some bacon, and we coaxed him out from under the bed with the bacon. After we got done with breakfast and everything, I kind of explored around to see what might have made that sound, see if I could find footprints or whatever. Between our camp spot and the next spot over was a sand trail. And you could see divots in the sand where something had walked through, but no definition to it at all. It just made a crater. But you could clearly see in the salal and the ferns that were off to the side of that trail that something had moved through there, smashing the stuff down. Probably about 10 feet off of the trail was a tree. And I went to that tree and looked around. Well, it had a perfect shot at our tent from that tree. It was about 25, 30 feet away. There was a limb on that tree that was about 6 feet high that was 2 inches in diameter, 2.5 inches in diameter, and had been broken off right at the base where the limb met the tree. It was like a green break where the limb was broken over, but it was in strands, and it had been twisted around 2 times. I looked around the area. I didn't see anything that told me for sure what it did. I looked at the tree limb real hard. There were no scrape marks on it. There were no signs of teeth marks or anything like that, so I have no idea for sure what did it. It was about a year later, several months later, we went to Squatch Fest and actually met up with the Olympic Project. And they had me talk to David Ellis about it. And when I described the information to him about what we had heard, he told me that he's recorded that sound a couple of times and that he was pretty sure that we had a Sasquatch right outside our tent. That set me on a course for wanting to find out what did that. Now I want to see it. We do research on the Oregon coast down in southern Oregon. And I've also been hooking up with other groups to go out in their areas and see what we can find. And that's kind of been my, I guess you would say, my hobby since.
Logging or a bridge? I'm gonna guess a bridge. Or maybe, no, I'm gonna guess logging. Because that's laying at the base of all these up here. And where's the bridge to? I don't see it. That road's washed out, super washed out, but this is going the wrong direction to be this bridge, for this bridge.